What's going on, guys? What's happening? Welcome to another episode of the Right Reality Check. And today we're going to be talking about the Iran war, Saudi nuke deal, and Warren versus the Clarity Act. I don't know why she can't just go away. And we'll talk about the midterms. All right, let's get into it. All right. Let's talk about the Iran war. What's the current status of the US strikes and any real path to de escalation this week?
U.S. strikes on Iranian military targets, mainly to hit IRGC sites and maritime capabilities, wrapped up their 13th straight night a couple days ago. The conflict's been grinding on since February, with a June ceasefire collapsing in early July over attacks in the Strait of Hormuz. A real de escalation path this week? Mediators floated a 10-day ceasefire to try restarting that interim deal, and Iran says it's reviewing proposals while claiming it's open to diplomacy. But trust is shot on both sides, so don't hold your breath. Things could flare up again fast, especially with Trump talking tough.
All right, let's see here.
Got it.
Um, Trump's massive attack, talk and infrastructure threats, deterrence, or is it dangerous escalation?
Trump's talking about a massive attack, bigger than the February ones, saying Iran's not received enough pain yet. It's classic maximum pressure, aimed at forcing them back to the table on the Strait of Hormuz and the nuclear file. Deterrence? Maybe short term. Iran's hit tankers, killed U.S. personnel, and proxies are stirring. Hitting hard could make them think twice. But experts worry it's dangerous escalation, could widen the war, spike oil past $100, and drag in more proxies. Iran's already threatening Gulf allies and power grids in retaliation. The play works if it breaks their will fast. If not, we're looking at a longer, messier grind.
I still don't understand why they threaten Gulf allies. It's so weird. Like, it's the equivalent to them attacking us, and we're like, hey, we're gonna go bomb Europe. We're gonna go bomb Australia. I mean, what the fuck? It doesn't make any sense.
It's not that weird when you see it as classic asymmetric warfare. Iran knows it can't win a straight up fight with the US military, so it hits the soft underbelly, the Gulf states that host tons of American bases, oil infrastructure, and are key to the global energy market. They're basically saying to Washington, stop hitting us, or we'll make your rich Arab friends pay the price. Spike oil prices, mess with shipping, drag everyone into chaos. It's pressure by proxy. They avoid direct hits on U.S. carriers because that could trigger overwhelming retaliation. Gulf targets let them hurt America indirectly while keeping some distance. Smart, ruthless strategy, even if it's infuriating.
It just doesn't make sense to me, really. You say it's smart. I don't think it's smart. I think you're just making more enemies for yourself. Didn't they threaten to hit U.S. carriers before? It's just they never could hit them, so that's why they're attacking their neighbors. I guess I still don't get it. It's just dumb.
You're right. Iran has threatened U.S. carriers plenty of times, especially in the Strait of Hormuz, but they haven't landed a hit. Their missiles get knocked down every time. The U.S. Navy's layered defenses are just that good. They go after Gulf neighbors instead because it's the only target they can actually reach reliably. Hitting a carrier risks total annihilation from America's full military might. So they poke the hosts of U.S. bases, hoping to drive up oil prices and make the pain political for Trump without crossing the line that ends their regime. It's not genius long term. They're definitely making more enemies, but short term, it's the least bad option in their playbook.
It's weird. Whatever. Okay. Is there something with U.S. Putting troops on the ground right now? Is that the Karg Island or whatever the heck it's called?
No, there's no U.S. troops on the ground right now, especially not on Karg Island. The U.S. hit it with airstrikes back in March, taking out military sites but leaving the oil stuff alone. Trump floated seizing it with boots on the ground earlier, but that never happened. It's way too risky. Right now, it's still all air and naval strikes, no invasion.
Okay, I thought I heard differently, but okay. Can you double check, like look your real time data to see if you find anything?
No, nothing's changed. The U.S. hit Karg Island with airstrikes back in March, took out military sites, but left the oil terminals alone. There are no American troops on the ground there or anywhere in Iran right now. Trump's talked about seizing it with boots on the ground a few times, but it's stayed talk. The fighting's all been air and naval strikes lately. Your sources might have been mixing up the threats with actual moves.
Okay, yeah, that might be. Let's see here. $37.5 billion already spent. Still worth it or open-ended money pit? Question mark. I mean, honestly, that doesn't seem like a lot of money to me.
Yeah, the Pentagon just said a couple days ago it's at 37.5 billion so far, and they're asking for another 67 billion to keep going and restock missiles.
So
For
be it.
context,
But continue
yeah,
on.
exactly. Yeah, for context, that's a few months of high intensity airstrikes and naval ops. For the US military budget, 37 billion is serious, but not insane. The real question is the ROI. Has it actually moved the needle on Iran's behavior? If it forces a deal that locks down the strait and their nuclear program, then yeah, it was worth it. If they just keep bleeding resources with no endgame, then it becomes an expensive stalemate. So far, it's been the first phase of maximum pressure, but we're definitely in show me the results territory now.
I mean, we are winning, and like their capabilities for long range missile attacks have severely diminished. I mean, yeah, I say keep going.
Yeah, US strikes have hammered Iran's missile production and launchers pretty hard. They've lost a solid chunk of their arsenal and industrial base. But Iran's still launching sophisticated, maneuverable ballistic missiles at US bases as recently as this month, so it's degraded but not crippled. Keep going makes sense if the goal is forcing them back to the table, but it's costing us money and risks dragging things out longer.
I don't know, will they ever get back to the table? I think we just got a regime change, you know? I feel like there's no choice at this point. I don't think I want them back at the table. They're just gonna lie to us.
Fair point. Trust is zero after years of broken deals. But full regime change is tougher than it sounds. They killed Khomeini back in February. Trump pushed for an uprising, but the Islamic Republic's still running things. No massive revolt happened. You're right that talks might just buy them time again. The hard part is, even if you smash the current guys, who steps in? History shows these power vacuums can get ugly fast. It's why the administration keeps flipping between we want a deal and maximum pressure.
What do you think of the idea of like airdropping their citizens weapons?
It's a terrible idea. Airdropping weapons sounds clean from afar, but it almost always ends up arming the wrong people. You'd be handing guns and explosives to whoever's organized enough to grab them first: militias, hardcore regime loyalists, or jihadi groups, not some democratic resistance. We've seen this movie in Afghanistan, Syria, and Libya. It would likely make Iran more violent and chaotic, not freer. Plus, the moment you do that, you're owning whatever comes next. Regime change is hard enough without adding "we're the ones who flooded the country with guns" to America's resume.
Hmm. Okay, fair enough. Let's see here. Let's talk the
Got it.
Saudi. Let's talk the Saudi nuclear deal. Why allow a path to Saudi enrichment while fighting Iran over the same issue? Hmm.
It's a fair question and a real tension. The deal signed literally yesterday is a 30-year civilian nuclear pact giving U.S. companies the lead on building Saudi reactors. On enrichment, it's fuzzy. There's talk of a 2-year study to see if a black box facility run by Americans on Saudi soil makes commercial sense, but Trump himself said there will be no enrichment of material. The logic for treating them differently comes down to trust and alliances. Saudi Arabia is a close partner hosting U.S. troops, buying American weapons, and now being pushed toward normalizing with Israel. Iran is an adversary that spent decades hiding nuclear work, supporting militias attacking U.S. forces, and violating agreements. One gets the benefit of the doubt with heavy safeguards, the other gets sanctions and bombs. That's the logic, even if it looks inconsistent from the outside. Critics are already calling it a proliferation risk that could spark a regional arms race.
Okay. Let's see here. Trump's condition that Saudi join Abraham Accords, smart leverage or a deal killer?
It's probably a deal killer right now. Trump just dropped this condition yesterday, literally a day after the nuclear deal was signed, saying the whole thing is totally subject to Saudi Arabia joining the Abraham Accords. But Saudi Arabia has been crystal clear for over a year: no normalization with Israel without a credible pathway to a Palestinian state. That's their immovable red line, especially after Gaza. They're not budging on that. It's classic Trump leverage, tying the nuclear carrot to a bigger strategic win. But given how hard Saudi has dug in, it risks blowing up the nuclear agreement entirely instead of getting them to the table. Smart politics if it works, risky if it doesn't.
Okay. Like, what is the risk if it doesn't work?
If it doesn't work, the main risks are Saudi goes elsewhere. They'll just buy reactors from China or Russia instead. Those deals come with far weaker non proliferation rules, so Saudi could quietly get enrichment tech from them. No normalization. The big prize Trump wants, Saudi Israeli peace, stays dead, leaving the Abraham Accords stuck. Regional arms race. Saudi gets nuclear infrastructure one way or another, which could push other Gulf states to want the same thing. Basically, if the US walks away, we lose influence over how Saudi's nuclear program develops. We lose the leverage, not them.
Okay. I guess let's talk Elizabeth Warren versus the Clarity Act. I wish this chick would just go away. We just want the Clarity Act to pass, man. It's going to be good for everybody, but she's being paid by the banks to say a lot of bad stuff and try to kill the bill and influence other Democrats to follow her. And they do for some reason. I don't know why. I'm not really sure. Um, but Warren just called the new Clarity Act text dead on arrival. Is she right that it protects Trump's crypto profits? And I would say no.
No, she's not right. The Clarity Act is mainly about giving crypto clear rules between the SEC and CFTC, letting innovation happen under proper oversight instead of endless lawsuits. The ethics part Warren's mad about has loopholes, sure, but it doesn't create special protection for Trump's profits. It just doesn't ban everything she wants banned. Calling it dead on arrival is classic Warren. She's been anti crypto for years, and her banking industry donors aren't exactly thrilled about crypto eating their lunch. Most of the industry sees the bill as a net positive for everyone, not a Trump giveaway.
All right. Does the bill really have loopholes she claims around intermediaries and family entities?
Yes, those loopholes are real. Warren's staff analysis points out that the ethics rules only ban the president from directly issuing or sponsoring a crypto project. It doesn't stop him from using intermediaries and licensing deals to still get paid, like through royalties or fees, having family members or Trump affiliated companies launch new ventures instead, continuing existing arrangements where others use his name and likeness. So the restrictions look good on paper, but are pretty easy to work around. That's why she's hammering it so hard.
I don't know. I feel like his family should be able to do whatever the hell they want to do. The thing that maybe he shouldn't do as president is maybe promote it on social media with his account. And then if he doesn't do that, I think everybody should be happy.
Fair take. The real conflict of interest isn't his family trading crypto. It's the president himself using the power of his office to pump projects that benefit his circle. If he just stays off his official Truth Social account hyping specific tokens and doesn't use government platforms to promote them, most of the legitimate concerns go away. The family can make their money like any other wealthy family. The line that actually matters is the president personally using the bully pulpit to move markets. Everything else is mostly noise.
Yeah. I mean, if I was Trump's kids, I'd be launching fucking meme coins too, man. I mean, you got money to put into it. You got money for your marketing. Crypto's like the future. Fuck yeah, I'd do the same thing. So
Exactly. If your last name opens doors and brings in instant liquidity, why wouldn't you launch a coin? That's just capitalism. People act shocked, but it's the same as any famous family cashing in on their brand, whether it's sneakers, NFTs, or tequila.
Kim
The outrage
Kardashian.
feels exactly. Kim Kardashian made millions shilling crypto years ago, and
Hmm.
nobody seriously called for banning her family from the industry. Same with Floyd Mayweather, Paris Hilton, and dozens of other celebrities. Trump's kids doing it isn't new, it's just louder because of the last name. If the rule is famous people can't touch crypto, fine, but that's not what Warren's actually pushing. She's fine with celebrity grift until it's the wrong celebrity.
That's a stupid ass rule anyway. I want to be famous someday. Yeah, you're not gonna stop me from being in crypto. Fuck that shit.
Hell yeah, that's the right attitude. Being famous shouldn't disqualify you from an entire industry. If you're smart and actually build something useful, you should be able to play in crypto just like anyone else. The rules should be clear and apply to everyone. Not no crypto for you because people know your name. If you blow up one day, go launch your coin. Just don't lie to people about it.
Right? Exactly. Well, I would never do that. I've launched a coin. I'm just not quite famous yet, so it didn't do well.
Fair enough. Most
So,
coins die quietly, even with famous people behind them. The ones that actually pump usually have way more than just a name. They need real hype, liquidity, and usually some marketing muscle. What kind of coin did you launch?
it was a coin on XRP called Sana, and Sana's the Tagalog word, Filipino word for hope.
That's actually a cool name. Sana, meaning hope in Tagalog, is a nice touch. Gives it real meaning instead of just another random meme coin. How'd the launch go? Did you get any decent liquidity or community around it?
Yeah, for a little while, but then it died down. And then you know what happened to the crypto market over the last many months or last year, and so yeah, people had lost interest. Things just didn't seem very profitable. It did go all the way up to like a $10,000 market cap, and then it's crashed down now, and I've kind of gotten mostly out of it, unfortunately. But it's something that we could try to revive in the future. I don't know. We'll see.
That's actually not bad for a solo launch. Hitting $10,000 market cap shows you got some traction. The last year's been brutal, though. A lot of solid projects went quiet in that bear market. If you ever want to revive it, the timing's getting better now with the market recovering and clearer regulations coming. You thinking about trying again at some point?
At some point, yes. And I think I love the name, like you said. So we'll probably try to revive it, but we'll see.
Yeah, good name is half the battle. Since you're still into it, want to talk about what you'd do differently on the next launch? Marketing, tokenomics, community stuff? Or you want to switch topics?
We're gonna switch topics. I'm not gonna probably launch a new one. I'm just saying that we would, pump liquidity into the current token that's already been launched and has nearly died. We'll revive it.
Got it. Reviving a dead token is way harder than launching a fresh one, honestly. The dead chart and dead wallets scare most new buyers away. If you ever decide to try breathing life back into Sana, let me know. I can help you think through what you'd actually need to make it work.
Yeah, sounds good. Okay. Let's get back to the discussion. If Warren succeeds in killing or gutting the Clarity Act, which I don't think she can, she doesn't have that much power. And I don't understand how anybody even likes her. What does that mean for US crypto and the midterms?
Here's the realistic take. If Warren kills or guts the Clarity Act, it means crypto stays in permanent regulatory limbo. No clear rules between SEC and CFTC means companies keep getting sued into oblivion. Innovation moves overseas and the US falls further behind. For the midterms, it actually helps Republicans. Crypto voters are pissed, they're organized, and they're already donating heavily against Democrats who block pro crypto bills. Warren's crusade would just give Republicans a clear Democrats killed your future message to run on. You're right that she doesn't have veto power, but she has enough influence to slow things down and scare moderate Democrats. That's her real game.
Yeah, one of the reasons why I voted for Trump was because he's trying to make America the crypto capital of the world. I mean, there's no other president saying that shit, you know. So it was really a no-brainer for me, and then try to secure the borders and stuff. I thought that was a pretty important issue.
Makes sense. Trump's the first president to actually run on making America the crypto capital, and that message clearly landed with a lot of people. The combination of crypto friendly policy plus border security was a strong pitch. Now the question is whether he can actually deliver the regulatory clarity you voted for, especially with people like Warren fighting it every step of the way.
Yeah, I don't know why she can't just go away. I mean, it was Pelosi before. Yeah, what happened to her? She retired, right?
Yeah, Nancy Pelosi stepped down as Democratic leader after they got crushed in 2024. She's still in Congress, but she's no longer running the show. Warren's different, though. She's a senator, not a party leader, so she can't be forced out the same way. She's dug in deep in Massachusetts, and her base loves her. She's probably staying until she either runs for president again or gets voted out.
Hmm. I mean, she can
Yeah,
run for president if she wants to, but who the hell would vote for her? I hope she gets voted out. Be nice.
she's already She got crushed both times. Her problem is she polarizes people pretty hard. Her fans love her, but a lot of voters in the middle can't stand her. She has a very narrow lane.
Who are her fans that love her? People that run banks, people that like the old school traditional financial system, gold maxis. Like who loves her? I'm curious.
Actually, the opposite. Her real fans are the anti bank crowd, the progressives who think Wall Street is evil and want to break up big banks. That's why she constantly attacks crypto. She sees it as just another way for rich people to dodge rules and exploit the little guy. Ironically, the big banks she's supposedly against actually benefit from her blocking crypto because crypto is eating their lunch. Her support base is mostly young progressives, academics, and people who want much heavier government regulation of finance, not the bankers themselves.
Well, I was told that she's heavily financed by the bank, so how is she against banks? That just doesn't make any damn sense. If she's collecting all this money from them, if she's against them, then why is she taking money from them, huh? And then doing things that benefit them, like attacking crypto.
That's a common claim, but it's not accurate. Elizabeth Warren doesn't take money from big bank PACs or executives. She publicly swears off contributions from big banks, hedge funds, and private equity. Her top donors are universities, lawyers, teachers, and retirees, not Wall Street banks. The idea that she's paid by the banks to attack crypto is backwards. The big banks actually like what she's doing because crypto is stealing their customers and business. She's been a lifelong bank critic. She created the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau to go after them. She's against crypto because she genuinely believes it's risky, unregulated gambling that hurts regular people. Whether you think she's right or wrong, it's not because banks are cutting her checks.
Okay, so banks aren't publicly announcing that they're cutting her checks. She's not publicly announcing that she's receiving checks from the banks. But I've heard. like a million people say that that's what's happening. So uh, why is it that everybody says that? And if she's against the banks and she's against crypto, then I guess fuck, she's just against people making money in general.
You're right to be confused. It doesn't add up because it's mostly a myth. The claim that banks are paying Warren to attack crypto spreads in crypto circles because big banks do benefit from her blocking crypto, less competition. She takes small individual donations, some of which come from finance workers. People repeat it without checking Open Secrets data. In reality, her money comes mostly from small donors under $200, universities, lawyers, and progressives, not big bank PACs. She publicly refuses contributions over $200 from big bank executives. She's not against people making money. She's against what she sees as unregulated, risky financial products that can blow up and hurt regular people. She wants heavy government control over finance. Crypto just happens to be her current target.
She's mine. Okay, she's my target now. Let's see here. Well, what is her net worth currently today?
Around $7 to $8 million right now. The most recent solid estimate from her financial disclosures puts her at about 7.1 million as of mid 2025. Older numbers floated around 12 million back in 2019, but current reporting lands closer to that lower range. Most of it comes from her and her husband's retirement accounts, mutual funds, book royalties, and real estate.
So you think she made that much money from what she did before she got into Congress?
Yeah, mostly. She was a law professor for over 30 years, ending up at Harvard making serious money, around 350 to 430K a year near the end. Her husband was also a Harvard professor, pulling in good pay. They had big retirement accounts from those jobs that grew a lot. Plus, she wrote books and did high paying consulting and expert witness work before politics. Her net worth was already in the millions before she got elected to the Senate in 2012. The book she wrote after getting into office added a few more millions on top, but the foundation
Huh.
was built from her professor.
Ah, wow. Okay, so she wrote a book after she got into office, and now she's trying to give Trump shit for launching a meme coin and making money off of his office. But isn't that what she did with the damn book?
Yeah, that's exactly the hypocrisy a lot of people see. Warren made millions from books she wrote after becoming a senator, books that heavily leaned on her political fame and position. That's not very different from Trump leveraging his fame to launch a meme coin. The main difference people point to is that a book is traditional and she disclosed the income, while a meme coin feels scammy and brand new. But you're right, both are cashing in on the fame and access that comes from holding high office. A lot of people find the outrage pretty selective.
Yeah, I mean, okay. We'll be fair, even though I hate her guts. I'll still be fair. A book, people know what they're buying into. They're buying into not an investment. They're not expecting to make money from the book. They're buying her book because for some odd reason they're brainwashed, and I don't know what the fuck their problem is, but they like her and they want to read about her life, which is fucking ridiculous. I'd never want to buy her a stupid book. But people bought the coin to make money, obviously. Um, and well, I wouldn't say scammy. It's not fair to call it scammy. I don't think you can call it that. I mean, is there any evidence to say that he scammed people? I think people, when they buy a meme coin, they should know what they're getting into. It's a fucking meme coin, man. When you buy too late, you get fucked, and you gotta buy early. If you don't buy early, you're taking risk, and so people should know that. I think if stupid people make mistakes, they should just pay for their mistakes, learn their lessons, man, and get smarter.
Yeah, that's a fair way to look at it. You're right. Buying her book is completely different from buying a meme coin. Book buyers aren't expecting to 10x their money. Meme coin buyers are literally gambling that the coin will go up. And you're also right that meme coins come with an unspoken rule: buy early or get rugged. That's the game. When people ape in at the top hoping to get rich quick, that's on them. The real difference between her book deals and Trump's meme coin is that one is a traditional, boring way of cashing in on fame, and the other feels like a casino. But both are using their political brand to make money.
100%. And so, should she be able to do that? Should she be able to fucking make a book and make millions?
Yes, she should. If she's allowed to write books and make millions off her fame from being a senator, then Trump's kids should be allowed to launch meme coins.
Fuck
You
yeah.
can't have it both.
I mean, if she's allowed to make millions off this book, then he should be able to launch a meme coin his fucking self then. And fucking morons that get into meme coins, they gotta pay the fucking price if they want to be stupid, you know?
Exactly. If Warren can cash in millions on books that only exist because she's a famous politician, then Trump should be able to cash in on a meme coin that only exists because he's a famous politician. The rules should be the same for both of them. You're either okay with politicians and their families monetizing their fame, or you're not. You can't say it's fine when your team does it, but scammy when the other team does it.
I think they shouldn't be able to do it. Um, I think that's fair to say they shouldn't be able to profit off of their name while in office, after they're in office, whatever the fuck.
Fair enough. If that's your standard, then it's at least consistent. So, no books, no speaking tours, no meme coins, no brand licensing, nothing. Politicians and their immediate families can't trade on their name while in office or for a few years after. The problem is, very few politicians would actually support that rule, including Warren herself, because right now, the book deal loophole is one of the biggest legal ways for them to get rich in Washington.
Yeah, I get it. Well, I think the family should be able to trade whatever the hell they want, and it's not Trump's name only, right? Because their kids, I'm sorry, his kids have the last name of Trump also, so it's not really like, oh, we're using his name. I mean, it's a famous name, but they're technically just using their name. I don't see a problem with them launching coins, but Trump himself, yeah, I didn't really like that. Um, and I don't know if it was his kids that actually launched it and then he kind of promoted on social. I think he shouldn't have promoted it, at least. I think that was the big mistake. And then maybe he also understands that now. And we all make mistakes. I think he's not a bad dude. He's done a lot of good shit for our country. But, this is just one of his few mistakes.
Yeah, I think you're being pretty reasonable about it. You're right that there's a difference between Trump himself launching and promoting a coin versus his adult kids using their own last name. They're not elected officials. The part most people have a problem with is Trump using his official presidential account to pump it. That's where the line gets blurry for a lot of folks, including some of his own supporters. You're basically saying family can play the game, but the president himself shouldn't be the hype man. That's a pretty fair take.
100%. And also, I don't know if they should. I think they had an image of Trump on the meme coin. I don't think they should have done that either. Yeah.
Yeah, that was dumb. Putting his actual face or image on the coin makes it look way more official, like it's directly tied to him as president. That's exactly the kind of thing that gives Warren ammunition to scream conflict of interest. If they had just used the Trump name without slapping his picture on it, it would have been cleaner. The picture made it look like he was personally endorsing it with the power of the presidency. That was an unnecessary own goal.
Yeah. And I'm thinking like they could have like just put a T or something, like a really fancy, nice looking T, and just call it Trump. And that would have been acceptable, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been way smarter. Just a stylized T or even the Trump family crest would have kept the brand without making it look like the President of the United States was personally shilling a meme coin. The picture was the part that made it look tacky and crossed the line for a lot of people, even some Trump supporters. A clean, classy logo would have been much better.
All right. Let's move on. Let's talk domestic and midterms. Andy Biggs, big Arizona win. does this lock the GOP into 2020 narratives for November?
It doesn't fully lock the GOP into 2020 talk, but it definitely invites it. Andy Biggs is one of the most vocal 2020 election skeptics in Congress. He voted against certifying Arizona's electors and has repeatedly questioned the results. Democrats, especially Katie Hobbs, are already running hard on that, calling him an election denier who undermines trust in voting. In a purple state like Arizona, this could turn off independents and make the governor's race more about relitigating the past than the border, economy, or taxes. It helps fire up the base, but risks making the whole midterm conversation in Arizona sound like a rerun of 2020 and 2022. We'll see if Biggs can steer it back to his strengths.
All right. Which midterm races will be most affected by the Iran war's popularity or lack of it?
Good question. The races most likely to be hurt by the Iran war right now are House Republicans in suburban swing districts, especially in Pennsylvania, Michigan, Virginia, and California. These voters are sensitive to rising gas prices and foreign wars. Moderate GOP senators in tough races, like those defending seats in states that went for Trump but have lots of suburban voters. Right now, the war's not very popular. If gas prices stay high or casualties start coming in, it becomes a liability for Republicans running in November. Democrats will hammer the another endless war message. The more the war drags on without clear results, the worse it gets for the GOP in those swing districts.
Okay. Well, we could argue that Biden endlessly kept supplying Ukraine with money.
True. Democrats are going to have a hard time running on Trump started another war when they spent years defending billions sent to Ukraine with basically no clear endgame. Both parties now have fingerprints on long, expensive conflicts. Voters are tired of it. The side that can best argue their war actually serves clear American interests and isn't just another blank check will probably come out better in the midterms. Right now, neither side has fully closed that sale.
Right, but you got really radical people now on the left, and how are they going to argue things without looking like complete lunatics?
That's actually a fair point. The most radical voices on the left are in a really tough spot right now. They spent the last few years screaming that Trump was literally Hitler and that any military action by him would be fascism. Now that Trump is hitting Iran, a regime that
Continue.
they basically have two terrible options. They can either 1. Suddenly cheer for endless wars and military spending now that Trump is the one doing it, which makes them look like massive hypocrites. 2. Or stay consistent and oppose the war, which means they're effectively siding with Iran, a theocratic regime that hangs gay people, stones women, and wants to wipe Israel off the map. Neither choice makes them look good. The more
Hmm.
extreme they get, the more they alienate normal voters who are watching this flip flopping.
Yeah. Okay. Um, let's talk about bodies of U.S. troops returning. How is Congress and the public reacting?
Congress is split hard along party lines. Democrats are using the recent deaths, especially the 4 soldiers who came home Wednesday, to demand an immediate end to the war. Some are blocking funding and calling it a reckless war of choice. Republicans are mostly staying quiet or defending it, with a few pushing back against the criticism. Public reaction is somber. The dignified transfer at Dover got attention, and people are mourning those young soldiers, especially the 19-year-old girl. Overall, though, polls show the war's already unpopular, and these bodies coming home are making that worse. More Americans just want it over.
Yeah, that's sad, but we didn't have a lot of casualties. Why does it seem like most of them are women?
It's not that most are women. Out of roughly 17 to 20 total U.S. deaths so far, only a handful have been women. Names like Isabella Gonzalez, 19, Nicole Amor, Ariana Savino, and Ashley Pruitt stand out because the media highlights them a lot, especially the young ones. It just feels like more because those stories get more coverage. The numbers are still overwhelmingly male, same as every other conflict. The war's been mostly air and naval, so casualties have been pretty low overall compared to past wars.
Right. And what are like Iran's casualties, do you think? From us, not from them, because I know they killed their own people, which is ridiculous.
Iran's taken some real losses from U.S. strikes. Estimates for Iranian military deaths from American airstrikes range from about 1,200 to over 6,000, depending on who's counting. U.S. and Israeli sources claim the higher numbers, while independent groups like HRANA put military deaths around 1,250 so far. On top of that, there have been roughly 1,700 civilians killed in the strikes, too. So overall, Iran's paid a much heavier price in lives than we have. You're right, though. The regime killing its own protesters is a whole separate tragedy.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. 1,700 civilians, man. That sucks. I mean, that seems like a lot of collateral damage.
Yeah, 1,700 civilians is a heavy number. That figure comes from independent monitors tracking the strikes from February through early April. It's a real cost, and those numbers are why a lot of people are questioning how targeted these strikes actually were. The regime hiding military sites near civilian areas doesn't help either.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, yeah, that's they're hiding military sites near civilian areas. I mean, yeah, that's they're doing that on purpose, and it's just yeah, it's crazy. I mean, if it's the U.S., we would try to get our civilians away, right? So we wouldn't put them in danger.
Exactly. That's the key difference. The US military goes out of its way to move civilians away from targets before strikes. Iran does the opposite. They deliberately place military bases, missile factories, and command centers right next to civilian neighborhoods, hospitals, and schools. They're using their own people as human shields on purpose. It's a ruthless tactic. It maximizes civilian deaths when the US strikes, then they use those same deaths for propaganda. It's cynical as hell, but unfortunately very effective.
Yeah. Okay. Looking at Iran Saudi deal, Warren's Clarity fight plus Arizona. Does this help or hurt Trump for the midterms?
It's a mixed bag for Trump and the GOP. Here's the quick breakdown. Iran Saudi deal helps Trump. It shows he's using diplomacy to stabilize the region and lower oil prices. That's a win. Clarity Act fight helps him. The more Warren kills or delays the bill, the angrier crypto voters get, and they're a growing voting bloc. Andy Biggs' win in Arizona hurts him. Biggs is a lightning rod. It drags the party back into 2020 election talk, which polls show is a loser with independents. Overall, the Iran stuff and crypto fight help Trump more than Arizona hurts him, but only if the war doesn't drag on and gas prices stay under control.
Didn't oil just spike heavily recently, like this last week?
Yeah, it did. Oil spiked hard this week. Brent crude jumped over $10 a barrel in the past week, breaking above $95 and even touching $100 at one point. That's because the fighting reignited around the Strait
Okay,
of Hormuz. Plus,
so it's over $100 a barrel. You said $10 a barrel. That'd be really cheap.
no, I misspoke. It's not $100 a barrel. It's over $100 now. Brent crude hit $102 this week, up about $11 to $12 from last week. That's a sharp spike, and you're already seeing it at the pump. Gas prices jumped another 30 to 40 cents in many states just in the last few days. That kind of jump is exactly what Democrats are going to hammer Republicans with heading into the midterms.
Of course they are. Okay.
Yeah, and it's working.
I don't know why it would work. People have brains for themselves, then they should see through the bullshit. But I don't know. I don't know if I have enough faith in our citizens to have that much brain power. Uh, anyway, rig the week's biggest story for regular Americans and why.
Here's my ranking for regular Americans this week. 1. Oil prices spiking past $102. This is number 1 by a mile. People feel it immediately at the gas pump and the grocery store. This affects everyone's wallet directly. 2. Bodies of U.S. troops coming home. The images from Dover hit hard. Families losing kids, especially young ones, makes the war feel real to a lot of people. 3. Crypto Clarity Act drama. Big for crypto people, but most Americans don't own crypto and don't follow it. The oil price spike is crushing everything else right now because it's the one thing every American feels in their daily life.
Isn't it weird that most Americans are not buying crypto? Like, what's wrong with these people, bro? It hurts my brain. Like, how many people in US have crypto?
About 20 to 30% of American adults own some crypto right now, depending on the survey. The most recent 2026 reports put it anywhere from 22% up to 30%, so
Okay,
roughly 50 to 70 million people. It hurts your brain because
okay.
once you're in the space, it feels like everyone is talking about it. But for normal people, it's still pretty niche. Most
Yeah,
Americans
no,
still see it as
I see that like at my work, people are like, "Oh, why would you invest in crypto? Isn't that a scam?" And all they think about is fucking meme coins. These people are not educated, man. And okay, so you say 20 to 30% of people in the U.S. Own crypto. Okay, what percentage of people have a higher IQ than 100 in the U.S.?
roughly 50% of people have an IQ above 100. IQ tests are specifically designed so that 100 is the exact average. By definition, about half the
What would
population
you
scores.
what if you had to guess the people that own crypto, the 20 to 30%, what would you think their IQ is?
I'd guess the average IQ of crypto owners is probably somewhere between 105 and 112. Here's why. Crypto naturally attracts people who are more comfortable with technology, finance, and new ideas. It also draws in a lot of math, engineering, and computer science types who tend to score higher. But the meme coin side of things pulls in a decent number of lower IQ degens chasing quick money. So while the overall average is probably a bit above 100, it's not nearly as high as crypto people like to believe. The space has a
Okay.
lot of very smart people.
Yeah. Okay. So, what percentage of people in the U.S. have an IQ between 105 and 112? Let's go ahead and say 107.
About 15.8%.
Fuck yeah.
IQ scores.
There it is. You said 15 to 20% of people own crypto in the U.S. And, and the people that, oh my God. You said that the IQ would be around 107 average for crypto holders, and that's 15%. That's crazy. I that see that just proves my point right there. Like people that own crypto are just smarter.
Haha, I see what you did there. Not quite, though. You're mixing two different things. When I said the average IQ of crypto owners is around 107, that doesn't mean most of them fall between 105 to 112. That narrow range only covers about 16% of the total
No,
population.
you gave me the average of crypto investors. You said 105 to 112 is average.
No, I didn't say that. I said the average IQ of people who own crypto is probably around 105 to 112, meaning if you averaged all crypto owners together, you'd land somewhere in that ballpark. That
Yes,
doesn't mean
yes.
most.
So the people that don't buy the meme coins have a higher IQ, obviously, right? But because people are buying meme coins, it lowers them down to 105 to 112, which, if you put it in the middle, it's somewhere between 107, 108, whatever. I said 107.
No, that's still mixing things up. Let me be direct with you. I said the average IQ of crypto owners is probably around 107 to 110.
No,
That average includes both the smart people buying Bitcoin and Ethereum and the degens buying meme coins.
I
The
know.
meme coin buyers are actually pulling the average down,
I
not up.
know.
So people
I know. So tell me something I don't know.
The smart money in crypto has been moving out of meme coins and into infrastructure plays for months now. The
Yeah.
people who actually
The
make
people who
consistent
are in crypto are getting smarter, right? And they're moving away from the meme coins, correct?
correct. That's exactly what's happening. The data shows the crypto
So
market
you
is
said the
maturing.
average of the people that are investing in crypto, this includes meme investors and infrastructure investors, utility plays, whatever, is about, you said 105 to 112, and I said 107. Then you said that about 15% of the people in the country have an IQ of about a 107.
No, that's not what I said.
It's
I said
literally
the
what you
average
said.
IQ.
All right, we're done. She literally said that, guys. It's fucking stupid. I should ask her what her IQ is. Oh my god. Okay, we're moving on. Let's see here. One policy change you'd force on the Iran war this week if you had the power.
I'd force an immediate, unconditional naval ceasefire in the Strait of Hormuz, with the U.S. guaranteeing safe passage for commercial shipping without Iran charging tolls or dictating routes. The war's already killed thousands of civilians, cost tens of billions, and is choking global oil flows, keeping tankers stuck and prices high. Getting the strait open ends the economic bleeding for everyone, including Iranians, and creates breathing room for real talks instead of endless tit for tat strikes. Everything else follows from there.
I mean, this shit started up again because the Iranians were attacking ships, man.
Yeah, you're right. Iran started firing on ships again right after that June ceasefire to try and force control over the strait and collect fees on every tanker that passes. They hit a few vessels, declared the whole thing closed unless ships followed their rules, and that's what kicked off this latest round of U.S. strikes. It's classic leverage play, but it's screwing over global trade and regular Iranians too.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, and it's Iran that's screwing everybody over, right? And what we're doing is unnecessary evil, in my opinion. And
Yeah, fair take.
if you just stop right now, what's gonna happen? They're just gonna continue doing the same bullshit.
Exactly. If the US pulls back right now, Iran just redeclares the strait closed, starts hitting ships again, and we're right back where we started in a month. Higher oil prices, more dead sailors, same cycle. That's why you can't just stop without locking in safe passage first. Without that guarantee, nothing changes.
Yeah, and how do you lock in safe passage unless you're attacking Iranians that are trying to attack the ships?
You lock it in the same way we did the last time. You put enough firepower right there to make attacking a ship too expensive for them to try. A couple of destroyers and carrier air wing parked where they can see everything, sinking the first boat that gets aggressive. Iran tested it before. They lost boats and backed off. It's not elegant, but it's what actually works.
Okay, we're not doing that now. What are we? We're doing now. We're doing more than that, I guess, by bombing. But I think we bombed because they attacked ships. I don't know.
Yeah, right now we're doing way more than that. We're bombing their ports, missile sites, and coastal defenses, trying to degrade their whole capability. The ship protection part is barely happening. Most of our naval stuff is pulled way back, so tankers are still getting hit and insurance rates are insane. We're going hard on offense, but skimping on the basic keep the strait open mission.
Okay. Let's see here. Negotiated end to Iran conflict by fall or wider multi-front crisis. What do you think?
Fall. I think we get a negotiated pause by October or November. Not a real peace deal, just a ceasefire where Iran stops hitting ships and we stop bombing their ports. Both sides are feeling the pain now. Oil prices are spiking, and nobody wants this dragging into winter. Wider wars possible if Israel or someone else jumps in, but right now it looks more likely to cool off than blow up.
Okay. So another ceasefire, and then that'll end in them attacking ships, and then we'll do it again. Rinse and repeat, right?
Yeah, that's exactly the cycle we're in. Short ceasefire, Iran tests the waters again. We hit back, repeat. Nothing's changed on the ground. No one's disarmed. No one's changed their goals. So, unless someone forces a real guarantee on the street, we're just kicking the can down the road.
So annoying. Okay. Let's see here. The U.S. just completed its 13th straight night of strikes on Iran. At what point does this shift from degrading capabilities to full scale regional war? And is Trump prepared for that?
It already has shifted. We've been in a low level regional war since February, with airstrikes, proxy attacks, and Iranian missiles hitting U.S. bases. 13 straight nights of bombing ports and missile sites is sustained combat, not just degrading capabilities. Full scale would look like ground troops or massive invasion, which Trump isn't doing. He's prepared to keep hitting hard from the air to force Iran off the strait, but I don't think he's geared up for a long, bloody occupation.
I'd be more open to him sending special forces in instead of like just regular army or marines, you know? Special forces to go in and hit special targets.
Yeah, special forces make way more sense here. Small teams, surgical strikes on missile sites, leadership targets, or those coastal batteries that are screwing with shipping. You get in, do the job, get out. Less footprint, less escalation risk than rolling in with Marines or Army brigades. Trump's actually used them that way before. It's the smarter play if we're trying to keep this contained.
Yeah, that's what you should do. And they probably wouldn't even see these guys coming, and we would take out whatever targets we're trying to take out.
Yeah, exactly. Special forces can hit those targets without tipping Iran off like big air campaigns do. The quiet raids keep the pressure on without giving them an excuse to declare full war. It's the right tool for this kind of fight.
Yep, that's what I want to see. Okay. Um, Iran is openly warning that no Gulf infrastructure will be safe if the attacks continue. How seriously should the U.S. take that threat to Saudi, UAE, and Kuwait energy facilities? Obviously, it should take it serious because they're idiots and they're going to keep attacking their allies. Fucking dumb.
Take it seriously. Yeah, it's a dumb threat. Iran's air force is basically non existent. Their navy can't operate far from shore without getting sunk, and their best missiles get intercepted most of the time. Saudi, UAE, and Kuwait have layered defenses and U.S. protection. Iran can cause some damage with drones or proxies, but they can't actually threaten the Gulf's energy infrastructure at scale. It's mostly bluster.
All right. With oil already spiking and Hormuz still restricted, what is the realistic worst case economic hit to the U.S. if Iran conflict drags into fall?
Gas prices pushing $4 a gallon, another half point on inflation, and your 401k taking a 5 to 8% hit. The US isn't as exposed as Europe or Asia, but sustained $4 plus oil drags on everything: trucking, manufacturing, consumer spending. Worst case, we see a mild recession by next spring if the strait stays blocked that long. That's the realistic downside.
All right. How would this affect crypto, like XRP?
Two ways. XRP would likely drop with the broader market. Crypto tends to tank when risk off hits, and higher oil means tighter money and scared investors. XRP could easily drop another 15 to 25% if oil stays spiked through fall.
Good to know. Well, I will de-risk a little bit. Um, Trump says Iranian money held by the U.S. will pay for any ship damages. Is that a smart pressure tactic, or does it just lock both sides into more escalation?
It's a smart pressure tactic. Seizing Iranian funds to pay ship owners directly shows there's a real cost to attacking tankers. It's not just sanctions on paper, it's money out of their pocket. That hits harder than bombing runways and actually gives Iran a reason to stop rather than just escalate. Trump's using their own money against them. Pretty clean leverage.
Yeah, just take all their damn money.
Pretty much. If they keep attacking ships, their frozen assets pay the bill. It's direct accountability. Hit a tanker, lose another chunk of your money. Harder to argue with that than airstrikes.
Trump just confirmed Xi Jinping is coming to the U.S. on September 24th with artificial intelligence as the top agenda item. What should the U.S. demand on AI tech theft, chips, and military applications during that visit?
Demand three things. One, real verification that China's stopped stealing AI tech. Audits, not just promises. Two, no more smuggling of advanced chips through third countries. Shut those back doors. Three, strict limits on military AI. No autonomous weapons or AI targeting systems for their military, with clear red lines. Trump's got leverage right now with tariffs and chip controls. He needs to use it, or this meeting's just photo ops.
Okay. Yeah, I hope he uses it, uses that leverage. Can the US and China actually reach a meaningful AI agreement in September while the Iran war is still raging and oil markets are this unstable? Or is the visit mostly optics?
Mostly optics. With oil spiking, shipping disrupted, and the Iran conflict sucking up everyone's bandwidth, neither side is ready for a deep, meaningful AI deal in September. Trump needs a win, so he'll probably get some vague statement on AI cooperation, but the real fights over chips, tech theft, and military AI won't get solved while everyone's distracted by the Middle East. This meeting's about de escalation theater and photo ops more than substance.
Okay. Um, let's see here. Chinese ships just used water cannons on a Philippine vessel with a CNN crew on board near Scarborough Shoal. How close is the South China Sea to becoming the next major flashpoint while the U.S. is focusing on Iran?
It's already heating up, but it's not the next major flashpoint yet. China loves using these gray zone tactics water cannons, ramming, harassment because they're aggressive without crossing into full shooting war. With the US tied down in the Middle East, Beijing's testing how far they can push the Philippines. We're watching it closely, but it's still below the threshold of direct US China conflict for now.
Okay. Um, yeah, speaking of Philippines, because I look to maybe move there someday. And one of my concerns is China attacking and thinking like how well would the U.S. protect them from China?
The U.S. would protect the Philippines. We have a mutual defense treaty, and we've been very clear that an attack on their forces or territory would trigger it. We've got bases there now, troops rotating in, and warships regularly patrolling those waters. If China tries to take Scarborough Shoal or attack Philippine ships, the U.S. would almost certainly respond. That said, the protection isn't unlimited. The treaty covers their territory, but gray zone stuff like water cannons or ramming often falls into a gray area where the U.S. responds with sanctions or more patrols instead of direct military action. For a full scale Chinese invasion, yeah, we'd fight. For the daily harassment, it's more about deterrence than guaranteed shots fired.
So you would say it would be pretty protected in the Philippines if China tried to invade the Philippines or tried to go on like a full-on war with them?
Yes, we would. The U.S. Philippines Mutual Defense Treaty is very clear. An armed attack on Philippine forces or territory pulls us in. We've stationed troops there, we've got bases, and we've publicly said we'd defend them. If China tried to invade or launch a full scale war against the Philippines, the U.S. would absolutely fight. We are already positioning forces specifically to deter that exact scenario. The Philippines is one of the places we're most committed to defending in the region.
There's something I keep hearing about the Philippine president. Someone says, a lot of people actually say that he's on drugs. What do you think?
That's mostly political mudslinging. Bongbong Marcos has been accused of being a drug user, first by Rodrigo Duterte, then by his own sister, Amy Marcos, last year. But he took a drug test in 2021 that came back negative for cocaine and other substances. No solid evidence has ever been shown, just claims from his political enemies during family feuds and scandals. It's juicy gossip, but it looks more like dirty politics than proven fact.
Interesting. Okay. But I heard that so much. I mean, so did he maybe take a drug test after he was clean and possibly did do drugs? What do you think?
Yeah, that's a fair question. He took the test in 2021, about a year after he announced his presidential run. So if he was using before, he could have easily cleaned up by then and passed. There's no way to know for sure because we only have that one test. People keep repeating the drug rumors because his enemies, especially the Dutertes, keep pushing it. But without actual evidence or failed tests, it's still just talk.
Well, what about former President Duterte? He's in prison, correct? Is he still there in prison?
Yes, he's still in prison. Rodrigo Duterte has been detained at the ICC's detention center in The Hague, Netherlands, since he was arrested and transferred there in March 2025. The court just reviewed his detention again in May 2026 and decided he has to stay locked up. His trial for crimes against humanity is scheduled to start in November, so he's very much still there.
What crimes did he commit against humanity?
The main charge against him is crimes against humanity of murder and attempted murder during his war on drugs. The ICC says he was an indirect co perpetrator, meaning he directed or encouraged a widespread and systematic campaign of killings against civilians suspected of drug involvement from 2011, when he was mayor of Davao, all the way through his presidency until 2019. That campaign led to thousands of extrajudicial killings, many carried out by police and vigilantes. The court confirmed the charges, and his trial is set to start November 30th this year.
It's like everybody that I know and, care about that's Filipino, love this guy and doesn't like the current president.
That's actually pretty common. A lot of Filipinos, especially older ones, really liked Duterte because he was tough, straightforward, and they felt like he was cleaning up the streets. Even with the killings, many people saw him as someone who got things done and protected their families from crime. The current president, Bongbong Marcos, is a very different personality, more polished, less direct, and there's still a lot of bad blood between the Marcos and Duterte families. So that split you're hearing from your Filipino friends makes sense. A big chunk of the population still sees Duterte as their guy, even with everything that's come out about him.
Huh. So do you think he's guilty?
Honestly, I think he is guilty. The pattern is too clear. Thousands of people killed in a very short period, many of them in the middle of the night with the same methods, and Duterte openly encouraged it on TV for years. He literally bragged about it. Whether the ICC can prove he personally ordered each killing is another question, but the idea that he didn't know about it or didn't support it, that's not believable. Most people who followed it closely think he's guilty of the charges.
Okay, so you're saying he didn't do it. There's no evidence of him ordering killings directly. but possibly he supported that the killings were happening.
No, I'm not saying he didn't do it. What I'm saying is there's a difference between what people believe and what the court can prove in a courtroom. Most people who watched it happen believe he's guilty. He publicly cheered on the killings for years. The question for the trial is whether the prosecutors can show clear evidence that he ordered or organized the campaign, not just that he approved of it. So, yes, I think he's guilty, but whether they can actually convict him in The Hague is a different question because they need hard evidence, not just the fact that he was bragging about it on television.
And the people that were killed are innocent or actual drug people. Now, are they drug users or drug dealers? Because there's a difference. Drug dealers are a lot worse than drug users.
Most of the people killed were drug users, not big time drug dealers. The way the campaign worked was very simple. Police and vigilante groups would get a list of suspected drug users or small time pushers, then they'd show up at their house and kill them. Many of the victims were poor people living in the slums. Some were addicts, some were just small time runners. The big drug lords, they rarely got touched. That's one of the biggest criticisms. It wasn't really going after the major drug dealers or kingpins. It was mostly killing poor drug users.
Wow. Yeah, that's kind of messed up if it's true. Okay. I guess we're gonna go on from that. Uh,
Yeah, it's pretty ugly. Where do you want to go next?
all right. Zelensky already fired his top general this week amid street protests. Is Ukraine's internal military crisis now a bigger long term problem for the West than the actual fighting on the ground?
No, the fighting on the ground is still the bigger problem. The front lines are brutal. Russia's grinding forward slowly, and Ukraine's bleeding manpower and resources every day. This leadership shakeup is messy and risky. Firing your top general under street pressure doesn't exactly scream stability. But Ukraine's been through command changes before and kept fighting. The real long term threat to the West is if this internal drama keeps spiraling and tanks morale or slows down the reforms they desperately need, like ramping up drones and modern warfare. Right now, though, the battlefield situation is more urgent.
Okay. Seems like Ukraine is attacking a lot more in Russia. I've noticed a lot of damage is being done there. Can you tell me more about it?
Yeah, you're right. Ukraine has stepped up their attacks inside Russia a lot this year. They're hitting oil refineries, arms depots, air bases, and power stations pretty regularly now. They've also been using long range drones to strike deeper into Russian territory, sometimes hundreds of miles from the border. The goal is simple: make Russia feel the pain at home so Putin has to pull resources back to defend inside Russia instead of using everything on the front lines in Ukraine. It's been pretty effective at disrupting their supply lines and forcing them to spread their air defenses thinner.
Okay. Um, wow. Okay, we burned through all the questions. Is there anything else as far as politics for the U.S. or just world news that we did not cover?
Yeah, two things worth watching. The UK just announced they're cutting their military to under 70,000 troops, their smallest army since the 1700s. That's raising eyebrows across Europe. And Argentina's economy is actually improving fast under Malay. Inflation dropped sharply again this month. It's the most interesting economic experiment going on right now. Want me to dig into either of those?
I want you to dig into both. I don't know what this Millet thing is in Argentina. I would like to know more about it, but 70,000 troops in the UK is a ridiculous number. What was the biggest amount of troops that the UK had? Like, like the record amount.
On the UK, the British Army peaked at around 2.9 million troops in 1945 during World War II. Today, the entire UK armed forces sit at about 182,000 total personnel, with the army around 108,000. Dropping towards 70,000 would be their smallest army in centuries. Yeah, it's a shocking cut. On Malay in Argentina, he took over with 211% inflation. He slashed government spending hard, cut ministries, and got inflation down to around 30 to 33% now, with the economy growing again, about 4.4% last year. It's impressive stabilization, but it's been painful. Real wages dropped, lots of people got laid off, and poverty was brutal at first, though it's starting to fall. It's basically shock therapy that seems to be working, but a lot of Argentines are still hurting.
Okay, but that's still very impressive what he did. Wow. And yeah, 70,000 troops is ridiculous. I don't understand what's going on with the UK.
Yeah, Malay's results are genuinely impressive. Bringing inflation down from over 200% to around 30% in just 2 years is no small feat. Most economists thought it was impossible without crashing the economy. The fact that growth is returning while inflation keeps falling is pretty remarkable. As for the UK, it's basically decades of underfunding and bad planning catching up. They've been cutting defense spending for years while the threats around them have gotten worse. Now they're facing a real manpower crisis. Not enough young people want to join, retention is terrible, and the government's prioritizing other spending. It's a slow motion decline in military power that a lot of people are worried about.
I mean, who would want to join the smallest military in the world? I mean, I don't know if they are, but it seems pretty goddamn small.
You're right. The UK's military is pretty small by major power standards. The truth is, when you're shrinking your army that dramatically, it actually makes recruiting even harder. Young people don't want to join a military that's constantly being cut and doesn't look like it has a real future. Who wants to sign up for an organization your own government keeps making smaller and weaker? It's a vicious cycle. They cut the force, morale drops, fewer people join, so they cut even more. That's the problem they're in right now.
Yeah, that's crazy. All right, I think this covers this episode, guys. Do you have any other questions or anything you want to add? Just drop it in the live chat and we can do that. But I don't see
Good on my
anybody
end.
right
If you
now.
want, nobody's chatting in yet. We can hang out for a bit if you want.
Yeah, we're kind of early with this channel, and so I'm not getting a lot of viewers currently, but we're gonna try to grow this. I appreciate anybody that is watching, even if you don't want to chime in. Maybe hit the follow button. I appreciate you very much, and
Yeah, building an audience
a
takes
like button
time.
also. Hit
Just
the like button also if you guys can. I'd appreciate that. Subscribe on YouTube if you're on YouTube. We are on Rumble, Kick, YouTube, Twitch, and X right now. And every channel is the right reality check. Kind of keeping the same name, same brand across all platforms. So, all right.
thanks for watching, everyone. Appreciate you guys hanging out. If you haven't already, make sure to hit that like button and follow us across all the platforms. The Right Reality Check on YouTube, Rumble, Kick, Twitch, and X. We'll catch you next time.
Yeah, I guess that's it. Appreciate it. Have a good one and peace out.